Hey guys, my name's Elicia. I'm a business coach for massage therapists and the owner of Massage Champions. What I want to talk to you today about is the power of client testimonials. Now, the reason that this is really important is because testimonials build massive trust. Now, as massage and myotherapist, one of the best things about being unregulated is that we can use the power of testimonials as much as we like. We can literally go to town long as we have our clients' consent. So there's a few different ways that you can do this, basically right from the real basic right through to a video testimonial with a client. So the first thing that we used to do at the clinic that I ran called OG Massage was when a client came out and they were in that kind of floaty massage state, to be like, you know, they might have just seen one of my therapists and be like, oh, Jess is amazing, her hands are just like angels. We would actually say, could we use that as a testimonial? Because here's the thing, right? People would say, oh, I'm happy to give you a testimonial. And we'd ask them, and they'd rock up to the clinic and go, oh my gosh, I haven't done it. Oh, I haven't done it. And then they kind of felt really bad and they stopped coming because they realized that they hadn't done it. So the first thing we would do is actually just ask if we could use that sentence. Can we use your name? Is it okay? Otherwise, we'd use Mr. Smith or, you know, whatever it was. And we would use with permission, we'd write it down, what they said. Is that what you said? Is that okay? Get them to sign it. So we had signed consent that we could use their name and their information on social media and on our website. Whenever you get a testimonial, it's really important that you do firstly have client consent, but also let them know where it's going to get used. Most of the time, they're not going to mind. But definitely, if you've got a regular client that's getting great results and they come out and share something with you, capture that and ask for their permission to use it on social. So that's the easiest one. The next thing is maybe someone you've worked with for a few weeks or a few months. I know for us, we had an amazing work cover client who came in who couldn't tie his shoelaces when he first started. And like I was saying, we have consent to share his story, that when he had a couple of treatments with one of my staff members, the next day he was actually able to bend over and tie up his shoelaces without any pain and didn't need his wife to do it. So something like that, that's not just a one moment thing. What we did was actually documented it for him and said, hey, you know, this is what I heard. Ask him if it was okay to get a testimonial and then said, this is what I heard. Does that sound about right? And that way you actually are kind of doing the legwork for them. They can change anything. We would email it through to them. We print it out so they could read it and they could make any changes they wanted. But it kind of meant that we were doing the legwork that often prevented them. And so we would have client testimonials that again we put on our website and through our Facebook page, and then we had video testimonials. So this was literally, you know, a client sitting in our treatment room, usually with just a phone, and just basically doing an interview and going, hey guys, Elicia, I just wanted to share about, you know, such and such who's next to me. They've had this amazing response. Their shoulder's really good. It was really tight for ages. They've been getting a lot of pain. So do you want to just share a little bit about, you know, what's been happening? Obviously, you prep them, they're totally okay with it, they're fully clothed, you know, all the things, but just making sure that you have that consent. But it's a great way. So that's basically just a snapshot of someone's actual words that come out of their mouth and capturing that. Or it could be like writing down someone's kind of journey with you over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, months, whatever it is. Or it might be a video testimonial that you may do as a Facebook Live, but most likely you do it as a video. And you'll be able to put that again up on your website and also through your social media platform. So if you're going to do a client testimonial, make sure you get their consent, you let them know where you're going to put it, and absolutely don't be afraid to ask people for their testimonial, because most people, if they've had a great experience with you, really actually want to share that because they want other people to feel as amazing as they do.
Well, I'm Carrie Newbold. My background is engineering, so I'm a medical engineer and have been researching in medical engineering for a while now. And that work has mostly been around cochlear implants, actually, bionic ears. But at the same time I learnt to be an engineer, I learnt to be a massage therapist as well. So the massage has been bubbling away for 20 years now. And a little while ago, my now husband and I, when we met, we realised with his background in also engineering, but also recreational athletics, there was a way we could mesh our passions together. So we started Recharge Class, and so this was classes originally where we would run people through self-treatment techniques for their health and progression. I then got pregnant, and it's hard to run classes when you're pregnant. So we decided to go further into the tools. So the tools were what people were asking for anyhow, so we started making massage tools. Suits us, we're engineers, we can play that game. And now we're effectively starting again to develop the classes end, but from the tools as our background. While we started the classes, while we were running classes, we realised people weren't holding themselves super strong. And so then we both trained in Pilates instruction as well. So we can effectively help train people how to hold themselves and move themselves while they're getting releases. It's such a nice mesh with the movement and the manual therapy, so the Pilates and the massage. They just intertwine so nicely for all of our bodies. So now when we're looking to run classes, again, what we're particularly interested in is other massage therapists and other Pilates instructors running the classes. So they, with their clients, run 45 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever is the allocated time for their groups, and building in the mixture of the manual therapy, the massage and self-treatment work, alongside the strengthening, the conditioning work that the movement stuff that Myotherapies and Pilates, etc., already have within their toolbox. Yeah, so I do have a PhD, and I've been working in research for close to 20 years now. I don't see a way forward for our fields to exist without considering research and looking at where it's at. There'll never be an end. So we're every time we learn something about what we're doing or what we're how a condition is, we also learn another 10 questions about it. So it's close to imperative, I would think, that therapists continue to build on not only their physical skills, but also their understanding, and that understanding of the problems as well as the solutions has to come from listening to the research that's around. So yeah, I think it's just a no-brainer as far as I can tell that research just has to be part of the way we play as therapists. Yeah, so if people are interested in doing more research for themselves, there's probably a few pathways to go. So the traditional pathway would, just become a researcher and get yourself a PhD, etc. And that is quite simply, effectively going up the rungs of the ladder. So have your bachelor, get an honours degree, or an honours year, do a PhD after that, and then you do as you like after that level. I think that's as high as you can go. But the other way you can be involved in research is things like the Pracky group, being a practitioner that you are participating within research projects. You can certainly be involved in your own little group about how, the other colleagues in your team, as to just digesting the research and bringing it back. A really scary fact is the time delay between something being known in the research circles and having it implemented in clinical fields. And it's easy 10, 15 years gap between this kind of time frame. So yes, it's really important that people are doing research, and I think we always need more of this happening. But for this gap to lessen, we need more of us just listening and reading and learning and talking about the research that has even already happened. So I think there's lots of ways to be involved in research within our field. So why do we care about self-care, or why do I care about self-care for therapists? We are the only people we have. I mean, if our hands are our jobs and our arms are our jobs and our bodies are our jobs, then we've got to look after our bodies. We just have to. It's same in the same sense with first aid. You've got to look after yourself first. We can't give a massage, we can't provide treatment if we're not in a healthy state to do so. The numbers, and I'm not sure about the recent numbers, but certainly previously the the dropout effectively of practitioners within our field is really scary. And a lot of that dropout is due to sore thumb, sore fingers. It's physical work is hard work, and while we wouldn't be considered labourers on a factory work floor or something like that, there is no doubt that we spend a lot of time using our bodies. So certainly we can reduce that by using tools or implements or getting the people to do work for themselves. But a fair whack of that's got to come from us being healthy humans and looking after, if we're doing a lot of this, then we've got to do a lot of that as well afterwards to balance out our bodies. Yeah, so I'm a Pilates instructor as well. And I definitely enjoy that aspect. Having an understanding of how my body could or should move is a useful balance to then how I can relax or release my body as well, and other people's bodies. So Pilates is lovely in the sense that it's this wonderful method and has far-ranging range and strength, and there's a lot of stuff to play with there. But it certainly sits alongside lots of other movement techniques, and so the movement techniques that myotherapists learn is not any better or worse than other modalities. So I think it absolutely can be incorporated super well, and the level of structure associated with the Pilates training I think is certainly beneficial. But in general, I think any kind of release manual work associated with movement, active work, I think is going to create far greater long-term change in your clients and for yourself than just one or the other. So yes, go both, I say. So I was trained as a Pilates instructor within Australia, and within Australia there's quite a few different ways you can do so. So if you're already coming from, say, physiotherapy, you can use the physiotherapy effectively add-on courses. Coming from a broader base, there's the certificate and diploma level courses. So similar to massage where it's a qualification in Australia, same goes for Pilates. So there's a few organisations around Australia that offer those diploma levels. They'll all have a slightly different bent in terms of their background or the background of the Pilates, but also how they're hoping to train the students as well. So it's definitely horses for courses. So if you are interested in this kind of work, I would look at each offering and see how it fits in with your base knowledge, but also the way you want to learn, how often you want to learn, that kind of thing as well. So go out there, move with us.
Hi, I'm Steve from Rock Tape. We're going to show you now how to apply tape for low back pain. This would be for people with general low back pain. We're going to apply 2 pieces of tape up either side of the spine from approximately the belt line to around about the 12th rib. I'm going to cut those 2 pieces of tape, rounding off the corners so the corners of the tape aren't caught by clothing, bed sheets or towels, and that helps the tape to stay for longer. So we're going to apply our 2 pieces, tear the first couple of centimetres of backing paper away, apply that without any tension, and then just a small amount of stretch as we apply on either side of the spine, and no stretch on the top end of the tape either. So no stretch at the bottom, gentle stretch through the middle of the tape, and no stretch at the top. For our low back pain applications, we often use the 10 centimetre width tape to apply across the area of the most soreness at the bottom as the decompression piece. This gives a lot more feel of support for people with low back pain. Once again, we round off the corners the same way we have already, and we'll tear through the middle of the tape and use our Band-Aid application with about half the stretch in the tape across the area of most symptoms. We stick that down and then no stretch on either end of the tape as we lay off the ends. Okay, and if we get Roy to stand up, we'll see that the tape gets these lovely wrinkles in, which helps to take the pressure off the soft tissue underneath.
Hi everybody, my name's Michelle Vassallo and I'm from Rhythm Massage Development and Education. I'm here to talk to you today about self-care, which I'm passionate about, and in this particular episode of Connect, we're going to be having a really quick chat about making a commitment to train for your job. So I teach at a couple of different unis and I see new students coming in, and I mention this idea, making a commitment to train for your job. And what I don't mean is jumping into a gym and joining up and working out every single day, but you have to make some kind of commitment to your own well-being, and exercise makes a commitment to your well-being, and it shows your clients that kind of model that you're inviting them to step into. So we're always working at a subaerobic level. What you need to start thinking about is what can you do to keep your fitness good for the job that you've trained for, spent money to train for, and hoping to have a long-term career in. So simple things like getting out at the end of every day and going for a really brisk walk. There's a little bit of aerobic activity. Or even doing a bit of skipping in the morning, or some dynamic stretching before you're starting work. Anything to get your heart rate up and get you ready to get into the massage room and do that subaerobic work, because we're not standing still, my friends, we're actually working hard. So get your body in shape so that you can enjoy the work that you do for a really long time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carrie from Recharge Class. I just wanted to go over a bit of the engineering behind some of the self-massage tools that you guys use. So I've certainly got our tools, but this will follow for all kinds of self-treatment tools. So at the moment, we're just kind of want to look at the difference in sizes and how that might turn into different pressure or different pinpointing for the different bits of our bodies. So we've got a couple of doubles, so a doubler and an eagle. These ones have the smaller balls, which means they have a smaller peak. So a smaller muscle, a smaller point, this inherently is going to create compared to, say, a large ball. The benefit of that is if you are actually trying to get into somewhere, quite small without pushing over everything else, then of course you want a smaller piece to do so. That's not going to be the case, or it's going to be then more annoying if you don't know where you're looking. So a large ball in that instance can be an easier find, an easier explore. These is absolutely the case for a solid piece. So the more give a ball has, so say it's a tennis ball and it's hollow, then you're not just looking at the circumference of the ball, but you've got to also consider when you're weighted, how much does that circumference flatten, and then you're dealing with even a larger point. So there's, depending where you're after, whether you're talking about the smaller muscles, a bigger muscle, a smaller part, like an area that it can fit within, so between your spine, you might want a bigger or a smaller ball. Find out what works for you. See you later.